All right, everybody, welcome back to Stinker, Drinker, Thinker. We're three guys who pour some pours, we make some cocktails, and we rank them in a ridiculous ranking system that we have developed known as the Stinker, Drinker, Thinker. We're going to drink some pretty interesting stuff today. A distilled whiskey that is distilled again into distill it that is once whiskey.
What is it?
Before we get into that, I'm your host, Anthony Longano. I am joined here by my two very good friends, sometimes Troy the Body Vigliotti. Troy, say hello to everybody.
Sometimes hello.
Sometimes hello. And then there's Matt McKibble.
And other times, hello.
So all the time, hello. We're coming off a fun week of love and chocolate and whiskey. And hopefully you guys got laid more than we did, which would have to be a lot.
At least more than zero.
At least. We had some cool stuff though. We made some cocktails. I don't know if you guys saw the exclusive YouTube videos that me and the Body put out last Friday. You'll see those in there's probably a playlist up there of Valentine's Day cocktails or whatever. Made some riffs, made some originals. We did a chocolate pairing with our in-house sommelier. We a chocolate and whiskey pairing that was fucking delicious. The brands did call back, everyone. I know everyone.
Did they really?
Yeah, they left me a voicemail.
Way.
I haven't listened to it yet. I figured we'd listen to it after we have a buzz and just see on the air because it's got to be ridiculous. They have to be like, what the fuck are these assholes doing, right? But they left me a voicemail the next morning, and it seems like their service was great. So we'll see. If not, I'll Karen them. I'll call them back and Karen them. We'll get free chocolate. Anyway, the way America is trained consumers. Anyway, and then we hung out, and then this week we're gonna do some fun stuff too. We're going to do a little review today of some stuff, which we'll let Matt get into in a second. But coming out in a few days, our good friend Charlie submitted I forgot what he called it, but he submitted, it was called it's a cocktail he submitted through our cocktail doctor.
The Approximo.
The Approximo. Kind of like a whiskey sour meets a non-whiskey sour. I don't know what to call it.
Whiskey tart?
That's a whiskey tart.
A whiskey
a tarted whiskey.
Whiskey sweet?
A whisk tarted. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. Oh, God.
Bologna sandwich.
Yeah, don't bologna sandwich me. Come on, Frank. Don't do that. But we're gonna doctor that up. That's a really cool mix of ingredients. And we actually already gave it a shot. On a video that's going to come out Friday if you want to see our actual reaction to us making this cocktail for the first time. And kind of like what we do in the room while we're doctoring up things. That'll be exclusive on our YouTube on Friday. But for today, I know this is a week late. First, I just want to say something. If you live in Philadelphia, I hope you're still alive. Fuck the Eagles. Moving on. Matt, what are we doing today?
We're going to Kansas City. No, just kidding. We're going to Texas.
Sick.
So if you can see, this is what we're doing. If you can get I don't know if we can get a close up. This is 15-year-old whiskey. See, look. It's totally clear.
It's impossible.
It's impossible!
It's not impossible, man.
It's impossible. No one has ever, to my knowledge, and to the people who made this knowledge, this has never been done before and probably will never be done because it's a big waste of money.
Isn't it kind of illegal, too?
No.
Okay.
That's the weird part. So, this is called the Phoenix. It's a project from Whiskey Tube Whiskey channel called the Whiskey Tribe. They've been doing this a long time. They do a lot of whiskey reviews. They do cool experiments. And they also are owners of a distillery called the Crowded Barrel in Texas. So they source things. They're very transparent. And they essentially ended up with a bunch of MGP 15-year-old whiskey that they didn't think was good enough or was a little bit odd. And so they wanted to figure out what to do with it. So they made this product.
It says it was a light whiskey from MGP, a 15-year-old light whiskey.
Correct. So it is 99% corn, 1% malted barley.
Is that what makes it a light whiskey?
No.
Yeah, what makes it a light whiskey?
I actually did research today because I didn't know what that term meant.
There's a couple brands that make light whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the oak barrels.
Does, yeah.
The oak barrels aren't charred.
MGP. Oh.
Yeah.
To a certain level?
At all.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they can't be called bourbon.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a usually a lot higher proof as well.
So it's like
and it's usually strong as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, so 100% virgin barrel essentially.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know.
Do they
if,
toast?
No, but I don't even know if they have to be new. They probably do have to be new. I'm not 100% on that.
Well, it's not charted. It has been it hasn't been used before, I would imagine. Unless you just want to like recask something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so then they take this and then distill it down. And this is interesting. So they
Yeah, it has to be distilled to more than 160 proof, but less than 190.
light whiskey?
Yeah, 160 to 190.
And then what they did, 15-year light whiskey.
Okay, so what they did.
And then they from MGP.
So yeah, so they took this, they had, I think, 3-ish barrels that they decided were not good enough to put in a product. That either had a weird lingering off taste or, like, I think they're describing, like, the oak started on their palate and then just kept on growing and just, like, kind of took over everything. And like, we can blend it into a 4-grain, or we can make a weird product with it. And what they decided to do was redistill it and essentially ruin, quote unquote, 15-year-old MGP whiskey, which probably cost them a lot of money to buy.
I mean, it was probably an expensive barrel.
Yeah. So that's what they kind of said. No one's dumb enough to do this. And they're like, it's an experiment. It's meant to be a thinker, really. I mean, like, this is meant to be just like a fun thing to try.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
This is not gonna like, oh my god, best whiskey of the year. I don't think anyone is thinking that. But it's meant to be
redistilled it to 138 proof, and
Right.
then proofed it down to 47%.
I think it's 92.
46. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. On Cocktail Masters or Mixed Drink Masters on Netflix that we had Raj on here for, there's a lot of like modern bartenders that are distilling, like punches and coffee and shit, like to make cocktails on the fly with.
Yep.
I mean, look at that. That is it's water. It looks like water.
It looks like vodka or whatever.
Let's give it a little whack. All right.
Fill her up. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Crowded Barrel in Texas, it is awesome. They do a lot of cool experimental stuff. They have a tasting room. They have a chapel. You can get married there if you feel like it.
Get married there?
I think one of our friends actually did get married there.
Who? Oh, we can't say that?
Well, I don't know. Mr. Bothwell, I think.
Oh, did he?
There. Yeah.
While we're pouring, let's see what the chocolatier said.
Hello, this is Nathan calling from DeBrand Fine Chocolates. I was just forwarded a voicemail from this number asking about our cocoa content and sugar content in some of our chocolates. I guess I don't know what specific questions you had or specific chocolates you guys were looking at, but most of our milk chocolate is going to be a 33% cocoa content. And our dark chocolate, most of it's 62%. We do have our connoisseur collection, which is in a 72%. And then the sugar content just kind of depends on which piece you're looking at. But if you want to give me a call back and ask any more specific questions, you can.
Thank you, Nathan.
Wow.
No, that's very nice.
Did we have any of the connoisseur collection?
That was all the connoisseur collection.
72. That's
72.
a sweet spot.
That's
The
a sweet
the
spot.
Ghirardelli stuff that I like with the blue wrapper, I want to say. Is
Dark blue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is 72.
That's the dark chocolate one. It's good.
That smells like whiskey.
I bought the 86 ones.
92
That's a
is
little
the,
tough.
I think the black one. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or extra dark. Woo!
86 is a little bit much for me.
So, and we'll see if this holds true. What they're kind of saying is it removed all of the tannins and barrel and just left everything else. Which
Which I think is amazing.
could be good or could be really
The
bad.
idea before I even smell it, I think the idea of it is amazing. And if other people are scoffing at them saying that they ruined it, I mean, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
And if it sucks, I'll take that all back.
And if it sucks, well, you were right. Sorry, everybody.
But in a blind, like truly, like in our black glasses, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It smells kind of like a ginny vodka, like a
Smells like corn syrup.
yeah.
Yeah, it is syrupy
Like a processed sugar.
because you don't get any of the vanilla.
It's weird.
I got vanilla on the tongue.
Huh.
It's weird. I don't know what that is.
I feel like maple pancakes is pretty pretty much there. That's interesting.
It reminds me of that maple pecan syrup from IHOP.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
I love that syrup. It's super sweet. And that's about it. Not really too much to say about that.
So they did re-distill in a pot still, if that matters. Well, texturally, but
if it was copper, it would have even stripped it down even more.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm done drinking that. It's not terrible.
It almost is. I mean,
I want to put this in one of my barrels. Just like barrel age it.
like re-age.
Yeah.
Re-age it.
Re-aged the 15-year-old
MGP.
re-distilled.
And
then I'll age it in my basement in like homemade Amaro casks.
Yeah, and there was some weird legality to it. Like, can we technically call it 15-year-old whiskey? Because
It is.
technically, it's not new make because it's re-distilled. They're like, well, technically, if a whiskey ages as a whiskey, the total time in the barrel of the spirit can be counted towards the age.
Before or after distillation.
Before or after doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If it were not a whiskey before aging it, and then you redistill it, then it'd be starting at 0 when it was distilled as a whiskey. Super weird. I don't know.
Yeah. And as far as it being against the law to make, I don't think it's so much that.
Well, if you don't have a distilling contract or like a license to distill,
Yeah.
it's illegal. It's moonshine to distill in your kitchen.
Yeah. You couldn't then redistill it.
I meant them specifically, like for them to, since they do distill things, they distill it once and age it, and well, they didn't distill it, I guess, the original. Cause
Yeah, no, they who knows how they distilled this.
Right. But
we could be drinking. How much you pay for this? $200?
They sold it for $90.
Oh, that's nice of them. Yeah. How many bottles were there?
I said that 3 barrels worth, I think.
3 barrels worth of it, huh?
So
yeah, probably about 750 bottles.
53-gallon barrels.
15 years too, probably less than that. It's probably like 600. Oh, excuse me. Probably like 600.
Oh no, sorry, my apologies. 8 barrels total.
Oh,
my apologies. 8 barrels. Which is why I think that's the only reason, honestly, because they have a pretty good Patreon. I think that's the only reason it got past Patreon and into us regular consumers is because they had so much of it. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah,
interesting.
I wouldn't drink this as a whiskey. I think this is, like I said, this is a cool experiment to see kind of what would happen.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is very off-putting.
If you're thinking whiskey, I think it's not gonna sit right.
It reminds me of that stuff that Nick Mignani got us.
Really?
Without as much like weird herbs.
This is almost like the most pleasant, non-intrusive to me. Like it kind of removes all the.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything offensive about it.
I mean, that last sip was offensive.
Really? What do you know? Like what it is?
It was like a medicinal sweetness characteristic, like a fake medicine, like if you had like a prescription syrup, and then at the bottom of the bottle there's like chunks of the fucking bitter medicine,
the leftovers.
Like that's, I don't know, that's just what I had.
Interesting.
Tastes kind of like peanut chew now, like a Payday candy bar or something.
It smells.
I was getting a little chocolate on the nose at first, but it
smells like the wrapper of a Payday.
Payday wrapper.
Oh God, add that. That's a new one. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, looking back on it, I would say it's a very interesting thing. I'm glad I got to try it. I hope no one ever does it again, especially with 15-year-old MGP, which light or dark, it doesn't matter. It's probably good because it's 15-year-old MGP, and MGP makes good whiskey. I wouldn't spend $90 on it. I wouldn't spend $30 on it. I would never buy it. And I think the nose is okay. It's okay. It doesn't smell like whiskey. You get it in, and it doesn't taste like whiskey. Yeah, it tastes like medicine, and I'm just gonna call it trash. Straight trash. It's a stinker. Matt, what do you got?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go drinker. I think there's a lot of thinking drinks. I think knowing what it is and separating that from the whiskey is tougher to do. I think going into it, I assume it's going to be a thinker, but it's just a pretty pleasant maple syrupy thing that I'm drinking. I'm not really honestly too sure what it is, but I'm just gonna go drinker, I think.
Troy, what do you got?
I'm gonna call it a thinker, which I think might be the first time that
All three.
there's been Yeah.
Well, I'm just
smoker, a
grateful it's
drinker,
not going into the Infinite Drinker because of that.
Oh,
So-
we should put that out here. I don't even know where it is.
Yeah. I feel like there's complexity to it that if I spent more time with it, it might show itself. And also, call me crazy because I definitely am. But
You're crazy.
What if it wound up back in barrel at some point?
That's what
I'm thinking.
That's what I said before. So,
You did?
how would you feel about this? I have a batch of Amaro that's aging, coming out in about 6 weeks. What if we took this and put it in that barrel when it's done?
You can put some of it in there, sure.
You don't want to put all of it in there.
No, I want to keep some of it.
I'm not talking us. I'm saying like the distillers.
But why don't we do
themselves.
it? Why don't we put it in there for like 3 months, see what happens?
We can look at it, perhaps.
That's a no.
All right. Here's the next question.
Yes.
When's the next time you're going to open this?
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. That's why I
You're
bought
never
it.
going to drink it ever again. It's
We
going to
don't
sit on
know.
a shelf. We might as well make it more interesting and put it in a barrel. And then you can have it.
Okay.
But the idea of doing this sort of thing, like, do you think if you, like, how long would you age it again? And like,
Well, it depends on the barrel
how
size.
much is too?
15.
I'm just assuming a bourbon barrel.
Yeah, well, it depends on like a 53 gallon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With a full batch going in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like that's the thing. It's like it would
I would
4 years be
say-
too much. Would another 10 years? Be
I would
too
say
much?
I would say 2 to 4 years on the bare minimum, especially if it was in Texas. You got to remember, where would they age it? They're from Texas. If they age it for 2 years in Texas, that shit's coming out dark as night.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's already been aged for 15 years. Would that like?
Then re-distilled.
Yeah, but I'm curious, and I don't think any of us know the answer to this, but like,
Fireman Joe's aged twice whiskey.
how much how
Twice
much of its
aged.
original age is still alive?
Don't know.
I mean, they sucked it all out. They took all the barrel tannin out.
I understand they took the barrel tannin out,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that like you're tasting complexities that come from age, even though it's not aged.
Right. This is
anymore.
not new make.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like
Yeah.
a young grain.
Oh
whiskey.
yeah, it's not fucking mature. That just is fresh off the or distilled. That's fresh off the fucking pipes. But
Yeah.
I
I'm just making conversation really.
no, I understand that. So you're just. I guess the question is, what do you classify it as after you re-age it?
Oh no, and that's not my personal question. My question is,
'Cause at
I
this
wonder what it
point-
would taste like if you threw it back in for a while and how long.
Me too. But I think if we were thinking about this bottle, it'd have to be less time. But if you put like a batch, like a full 53 gallon barrel, I would say in an experiment, because it's already. I mean, maybe you got 3 barrels, you have 3 different age gaps. I would say 3 years, 4 years, and 8 years. And it would depend on where it's getting aged. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It would be even more interesting if you did 1 barrel down in Texas for 2 years, and you did 1 barrel in Kentucky for 4 years. That would be interesting.
If it was aged 2 years in Kentucky, would you call it Kentucky Straight Whiskey? 17-year-old Kentucky Straight
I'm sure
Whiskey.
some proud boy down there would.
Yeah.
Only
I don't want to get a lawyer.
bourbon's
Oh,
only
yeah,
made
yeah.
in
That's right.
Kentucky.
All
Yeah,
right.
anyway.
All right.
Well, that was fun. Coming up, this was a nice little gift.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty impressed that you scored a bottle.
It's interesting.
Score. Anyway, yeah. Coming up, our buddy Charlie has submitted a cool little cocktail for us to riff on. It involves some weird ingredients, and it's like a paper plane meets a whiskey sour, with just a whole lot of everything going on. So we're gonna try to balance it out, I think. In the meantime, what else we got? We got anything else cool going on?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone out there enjoys their week. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you're hitting that like button. If you're watching, hit the subscribe on the channel there. We greatly appreciate that. Drop any comments. If you guys have tried this stuff and you're watching on YouTube, definitely drop us a comment. Let us know what you think of it. If you think it's hot garbage like me,
I think it's actually decent.
we'll like your comment. If you don't, we'll not like your comment. We just won't interact with you ever again. If you're listening along, you know how to get a hold of us. Go to Instagram, shoot me a DM. At this point, there is somebody manning our Instagram again. He's back from vacation. Instagram vacation is over. Which kind of pains me to say because I fucking hate Instagram. But that is my only job now. It's like I can't even complain about it. It's my only fucking job is to sit here, drink, clean up after you fools, and run the fucking Instagram. Anyway, Troy, lead us out.
Yo, lady.